This video is about the single mom arrived at the science fair and a billionaire smiled at her. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. As the sun dipped low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the bustling park, Mia Hollis parked her modest sedan beneath a large oak tree. She took a moment to collect herself, running a hand through her tousled hair and glancing at the colorful tents that dotted the landscape. The annual science fair had always been a highlight for her son Lucas, a 10-year-old with a boundless curiosity and a penchant for chemistry. This year, he had worked tirelessly on a project about chemical reactions, and Mia felt a swell of pride mixed with nerves. She had been up late the night before, helping him assemble his display, complete with bubbling concoctions and vibrant charts. As she stepped out of the car, the familiar scent of cotton candy and popcorn wafted through the air, instantly reminding her of her own childhood fairs. But as she adjusted her oversized tote bag and smoothed down the wrinkles of her sundress, a wave of apprehension washed over her. It wasn't just the fair she was anxious about. It was the mingling of parents, the scrutiny of other moms, and the unspoken judgments that lingered in the air like the scent of fried dough. "Mama, over here!" Lucas' voice pierced through her thoughts. She turned to see him bouncing on the balls of his feet, his eyes sparkling with excitement as he waved enthusiastically. "Okay, buddy, I'm coming." She couldn't help but smile, her heart warming at the sight of his enthusiasm. As they navigated through the crowd, Lucas led her to their designated booth. The vibrant poster board was adorned with colorful graphs and illustrations, and a beaker bubbled away under a makeshift heat source. "Isn't it awesome?" he exclaimed, beaming with pride. "It's incredible," she replied, squatting to his level. "You've worked so hard on this. I know the judges will be impressed." Just then, a ripple of laughter spread through the nearby crowd, and Mia's gaze was drawn toward a striking figure standing at the next booth. He was tall, with dark hair that glinted under the sunlight and an easy confidence about him. Dressed in a tailored blazer over a casual shirt, the man effortlessly commanded attention as he spoke to a group of parents. "Who is that?" Mia muttered under her breath, suddenly hyper-aware of her own appearance. The casual sundress felt inadequate compared to the stylish ensemble sported by the man who had just stolen her focus. "Mom, look!" Lucas pointed excitedly at his project display, pulling her back to their little world. "Can you believe how well it's bubbling?" "Yes, I can," she replied, forcing a smile while internally assessing the flicker of envy that coursed through her. The man turned to look at them just as Lucas dipped a tiny spoon into the bubbling concoction and splashed a few droplets onto his poster board. Mia's heart raced when their eyes met. A flicker of curiosity lit his expression before he returned his gaze to the group around him. "Focus, Mia," she whispered to herself, shaking her head slightly. She had no time for distractions. The sound of a whistle pierced the air, signaling the start of the judging. With a last glance toward the striking man, who now seemed lost in conversation, she shifted her focus to assisting Lucas. "Okay, Lucas, remember what we practiced. Just be yourself," she whispered, placing a hand on his shoulder. "I will, Mom. I got this." His confidence was contagious, easing her own nerves as the judge approached. The panel of judges moved methodically from booth to booth, each one taking their time to examine the projects. Lucas stood tall, explaining his experiments with fervor, his hands gesturing animatedly. Mia watched in awe, the worries of the world fading as she soaked in his enthusiasm. But just as the judge leaned in, utterly engrossed in Lucas's explanation, she felt a presence beside her. Turning, she found herself face to face with the man from the other booth. His presence was magnetic. The warm smile he wore was disarming. "I couldn't help but notice your son's project," he said, his voice deep and smooth like whiskey. "It looks impressive." "Thank you," Mia replied, a rush of warmth flooding her cheeks. "He's put a lot of work into it. I can tell. It's great to see such passion," he said, his gaze lingering on Lucas before returning to her. I'm Alexander, by the way. Mia, she introduced herself, feeling both flustered and intrigued. There was something in his deep-set eyes that held a world of stories, a depth that made her want to know more. Do you come to the fair often? He asked, tilting his head slightly in interest. Every year, she replied, choosing her words carefully. It's one of Lucas' favorite events, and I always want to support him. He nodded, a flicker of understanding flashing across his expression. I can relate. I used to love science fairs when I was younger. It's nice to see kids so engaged. Mia noticed the way his gaze kept drifting toward Lucas, a soft smile appearing on his lips. He's certainly enthusiastic. Must take after his mom, he added, a teasing lilt to his tone. She laughed, the sound surprising her. I'm not sure about that, she replied, a small sense of pride bubbling up. I was never very good at science. That's surprising. You seem like someone who could master anything. His compliment, delivered with a casual charm, sent a flutter through her stomach. Flattery will get you nowhere, she joked, trying to mask the sudden rush of heat rising to her cheeks. He chuckled, a rich sound that made her feel oddly at ease despite her nerves. Fair enough. I guess I'll have to work harder then. Don't push your luck, she said, the playful banter between them igniting an unexpected sense of chemistry. The conversation flowed effortlessly, a teasing dance punctuated by laughter and quick glances. Yet beneath the surface, Mia felt a wariness creeping in. She was a single mom, and her life revolved around Lucas. Could she allow herself to be drawn into a flirtation, however innocent? Their conversation was interrupted as Lucas, bursting with excitement, turned to them. Mom, did you see how the judge was smiling? I did. You were amazing, she replied, ruffling his hair affectionately. Thanks. Lucas beamed. I told him about the color-changing reaction, and I think he really liked it. Mia followed her son's gaze, noticing that Alexander was now leaning against the booth, watching the exchange with an amused smile. You did great, kid, he said, giving Lucas a thumbs up. Thanks. Lucas grinned back, oblivious to the subtle tension in the air. Mia felt a warmth spread through her as she watched Lucas engage with Alexander, the way the man's presence seemed to put her son at ease. There was something undeniably appealing about how Alexander connected with children, a softness that contrasted with his polished exterior. But as she glanced back at him, there was a brief flicker of something else in his eyes. A hint of longing, or perhaps something deeper that sent her heart racing. The moment was electric, charged with unspoken feelings, yet burdened by the weight of reality. Your project is great, Lucas, Alexander said, breaking the charged silence. I can't wait to see how it does in the competition. Thanks. I hope we win. As Lucas continued to chatter enthusiastically about his project, Mia found herself caught in a whirlwind of emotions. She felt a blind attraction to Alexander, but the fear of her own feelings and the consequences of pursuing them loomed large in her mind. Just then, a group of mothers approached, their laughter ringing clear as they entered the fray, bringing with them an air of competition. Mia's stomach twisted as she recognized one of them, Karen, the self-appointed queen of the PTA. Mia, darling, is that your son's project? Karen exclaimed, her eyes narrowing slightly as she scrutinized the display. How cute. Mia started, but the words caught in her throat as Karen's gaze flicked toward Alexander. Oh, and you've met Alexander. How nice, Karen continued, her tone dripping with faux sweetness. I hear he's quite the philanthropist. Mia could sense the subtle competition brewing beneath the surface, and she stiffened. Yes, he was just complimenting Lucas on his project. Oh, really? How generous of you, Karen said, her smile plastered on as she turned back to the other mothers, leaving Mia feeling small and exposed. Mia felt a sudden wave of insecurity wash over her. Did she really belong here? Would she ever be able to compete in this world of polished perfection? You okay? Alexander's voice broke through her thoughts, his concern evident as he leaned in closer. Yeah, I'm fine, she lied, forcing a smile. Just the usual noise, you know. He nodded, a hint of understanding in his gaze. I get it. Just remember, you're doing an amazing job and Lucas is lucky to have you. His words wrapped around her like a balm, easing the tension that had begun. Mia's heart swelled at Alexander's words, and for a moment the chaos of the fair melted away. She could see the sincerity in his eyes, a warmth that felt so genuine amidst the cold facade of competition surrounding her. Thank you, she said softly, meeting his gaze. That means a lot coming from you. He smiled, but she noticed a flicker of something else in his expression, an intensity that sent her thoughts spiraling. The moment felt too intimate for an open park filled with cheering children and bustling parents. Mom! Lucas interrupted, his effervescent energy bursting forth as he tugged at her sleeve. Can we do the volcano next? I want to show everyone how it erupts. Of course, Mia replied, pulling her focus back to her son, grateful for the distraction. But we need to be careful this time. Remember what happened last year? Lucas laughed, a carefree sound that reminded her of why they were there. That was just the baking soda. I've got it this time, I promise. Watching him, she felt a twinge of nostalgia mixed with a heavy sense of responsibility. Lucas looked so alive in that moment, his face flushed with excitement, and she wished she could bottle that joy for the rainy days to come. Your son is great, Alexander said, his voice low enough for only her to hear. He's got this infectious energy. It's wonderful to see. Mia nodded, a weight settling in her chest as she glanced at her son. He's my whole world, you know. It's not always easy, but he makes it worthwhile. I can imagine, he replied, his gaze drifting toward Lucas, who was now enthusiastically demonstrating his volcanic eruption plan to another child. Kids like him remind us of the magic in the simple things. Their eyes met again, and a silent understanding passed between them. It was a connection that felt as fragile as a soap bubble, yet vibrant and alive with possibilities. Excuse me, Karen's voice cut through the moment like a knife. Mia, is that Lucas volcano project? It looks rather simple. Mama, help! Lucas called, shaking a bottle of vinegar over his volcano setup, which was a little too close to the bubbly concoction. Mia turned, her heart racing. No, Lucas, wait! She rushed over, just as the mixture began to overflow. Oops! Lucas giggled, pulling back. It's erupting! Mia couldn't help but laugh at his antics, though her heart still pounded in her chest. Yes, but this is a controlled eruption, remember? Controlled is boring. Lucas shot back, eyes sparkling. Is it? Alexander chimed in, a smirk playing on his lips as he sidled up next to them. Sometimes chaos creates the best results. Mia shot him a look, half exasperated and half amused. Not when it comes to science fairs. Ah, but what if chaos was part of the experiment? He teased, leaning closer. It might just lead to a more explosive result. Lucas clapped excitedly. See, Mom? Alexander agrees with me. Mia couldn't hold back her laughter, though it was tinged with a sense of uncertainty. Her heart was still fluttering from Alexander's presence, and now Lucas had added another layer to the mix. Okay, she relented, realizing she couldn't rein in Lucas' creativity. But just a little chaos. We don't want to scare off the judges. Or Karen, Alexander added, casting a side glance toward the group of mothers who had gathered near their booth. I thought I sensed a hint of jealousy earlier, she replied, her voice low. She's been sizing you up since you got here. Maybe she's just concerned, he said lightly, though his eyes betrayed amusement. I'm not exactly her type of crowd. Very true, Mia agreed, her pulse quickening as she caught his eye again. She likes things pristine and perfect. Sounds dull, he countered, his expression turning serious for a moment. Life isn't about perfection. It's about experiences and moments like this. Mia looked at him, feeling a charge in the air. Moments like this? Exactly. Suddenly, a loud cheer erupted from a nearby booth as another project was unveiled, and the sound pulled Mia back to the reality of the fair. I think we should focus on our own moments for now, she said, forcing a smile despite the magnetic pull she felt toward Alexander. Definitely, he replied, his gaze lingering on her. How about I help you and Lucas with the volcano? It could use a little flair. Flair? Mia raised an eyebrow playfully. What kind of flair are you thinking? Confetti, maybe? Or... He leaned in closer, his voice dipping to a conspiratorial whisper. A small explosive that surprises everyone. You know, controlled chaos. His playful tone ignited something within her. You're trouble, you know that, she teased. And he grinned, a dazzling smile that made her heart race. Only when it comes to science fairs, he replied lightly. Then we'd better be careful, she said, glancing at Lucas, who was now fully engrossed in mixing ingredients. He's already got enough chaos on his own. Their laughter hung in the air, light and playful, weaving a thread of intimacy that made Mia acutely aware of the closeness between them. The atmosphere around them felt charged, as if the bubbles from Lucas' concoctions were somehow imbuing them with a spark of adventure. Mom, look! Lucas shouted, his eyes wide as he held up a tiny container filled with a colorful mixture. I made an experiment just for you. Mia bent down, her heart swelling as she observed the colorful liquid swirling in the bottle. What is it? It's a potion. It's supposed to make people happy, he announced proudly, beaming up at her. She couldn't help but smile, her heart softening at his innocent enthusiasm. And how do you know it works? Because I made it with love, he declared, his sincerity illuminating the moment. Mia's smile faltered for a heartbeat, a pang of guilt creeping in. Would she be able to give him everything he needed? Would her own insecurities and fears cast a shadow on his bright spirit? Of course you did, buddy, she said, forcing the thoughts away as she hugged him tightly. That's the best ingredient of all. Hey, I want some. Alexander chimed in, kneeling beside them. Can I have a taste of your magic potion? Lucas' eyes lit up as he held out the bottle. You have to promise to share with everyone. I promise, Alexander replied, his voice warm and inviting. Just a small sip, though. I wouldn't want to take all the happy away from you. As Lucas giggled, Mia caught Alexander's eye and felt her heart race again. There was a magnetic pull that lured her in, but she could also sense an unspoken question hanging between them. Mom, Lucas interrupted, his wide-eyed curiosity breaking the tension. Can I do the eruption now? Let's do it, Mia replied, her heart racing with excitement. But as she turned back to Alexander, she couldn't shake the feeling that this moment was more than just a science fair. It was a delicate dance of emotions, of choices, of unforeseen connections. As they prepared for Lucas' next experiment, Mia could feel Alexander's presence beside her, steady and encouraging, and beneath the surface, unspoken chemistry hummed like an electric current. Landing her gaze on Lucas, she felt a bittersweet longing mixed with hope. Perhaps, just perhaps, amid the chaos of the science fair, she could allow herself to explore this burgeoning connection with Alexander. But as she heard Karen's laughter in the distance, the nagging doubts returned, reminding her of her responsibilities and the life she had carved out for herself and Lucas. Okay, Lucas, let's make some magic happen, she said, managing a smile even as her heart wrestled with the uncertainty of what lay ahead. The countdown began as Mia and Lucas prepared for the grand eruption. Mia felt the familiar rush of excitement mixed with a tinge of anxiety. She watched her son's face, alive with anticipation, and wished she could bottle this moment, this unfiltered joy. 5, 4, 3... Lucas counted down, his voice booming with theatrical flair, drawing the attention of other children and parents nearby. Mia felt a knot of pride swell in her chest. 2, 1, erupt, he shouted. And with that, he tipped the colorful mixture over the volcano, sending a cascade of bubbly, frothy liquid spilling over the edge. Cheers erupted from the crowd, and for a moment, the chaos around them felt like a delightful celebration. Mia clapped, her heart singing as Lucas jumped up and down, giggling uncontrollably. "Did you see it, Mom? It erupted, just like I wanted." He spun around, his joy infectious. "I did! It was amazing, Lucas! You're a natural scientist!" she exclaimed, her voice ringing with pride. A light chuckle beside her made her turn. "You know, I think the judges will definitely remember this one." Alexander leaned closer, a glint of admiration in his eyes. "It was a team effort." Mia shot back, trying to maintain her composure. His presence was overwhelming yet strangely comforting, like a warm blanket on a chilly night. "Team effort? More like a solo act," Lucas chimed in, his face flushed with excitement. "Can we do another one, please? Maybe a smaller one?" Mia suggested, glancing at Alexander for support. "What do you think?" "I'm all for small explosions," Alexander replied, his smile widening, "especially when they come from creative minds." Mia felt a flutter in her stomach at his words, an unspoken acknowledgement that warmed her from within. "Okay, let's brainstorm. What else can we add?" "More bubbles," Lucas suggested, eyes wide. "And glitter." "Glitter?" Mia raised an eyebrow. "That might get messy, buddy." "Mess is good," Lucas insisted, bouncing on his feet. "Mess is part of the magic," Alexander added, his voice low and teasing as he leaned down, whispering conspiratorially to Lucas. "Just remember to enjoy it and maybe don't tell your mom about the glitter." "Deal." Lucas grinned, sealing the promise with a secretive nod. Mia watched the exchange with a mixture of amusement and unease. There was something about the way Alexander engaged with Lucas that tugged at her heartstrings. It was as if he effortlessly stepped into their world, brightening it without even trying. "Okay, but only a little chaos this time." She finally relented, feeling a sense of camaraderie growing between her, Lucas, and Alexander. "Just enough to make it fun," Alexander winked, and Mia felt her cheeks heat. As they gathered their supplies for another eruption, Mia was acutely aware of Alexander's presence. He moved seamlessly around them, chatting with Lucas, offering tips, his laughter ringing through the air like music. "What do you do for fun, Alexander?" Mia found herself asking, curious about the man behind the tailored blazer. "When you're not charming kids at science fairs?" He chuckled, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "Believe it or not, I'm a big fan of adventure sports." "Adventure sports?" she echoed, intrigued. "Like what? Skydiving, rock climbing?" "Both. And I've recently taken up kite surfing." Mia raised her eyebrows in surprise, impressed. "That sounds exhilarating." "It is," he replied, his gaze steady on hers. "It's also a bit like science. You have to understand the variables to navigate the chaos." "Good analogy," she admitted, feeling a flutter of connection. "You really have a way with words." "Only when the company is inspiring," he said, his tone earnest. She felt her heart skip a beat, the sincerity of his compliment hanging in the air between them. "You're pretty inspiring yourself. It's nice to see someone so passionate." "Passion is important," he said, his voice dropping lower, laced with intensity. "It fuels everything we do, especially in moments like these." A charged silence enveloped them, the world around them fading. She felt a magnetic pull to him, a longing to dive deeper into this connection. But as Lucas returned with a handful of glitter and a wide smile, the moment shattered like fragile glass. "Look, Mom, I found glitter," Lucas exclaimed, scattering the tiny particles across the table, oblivious to the tension that had just filled the air. "Lucas, careful," Mia exclaimed, laughing despite herself. "Not too much, remember?" "Just enough," he retorted cheekily, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Mia shot a glance at Alexander, who wore an amused expression, clearly entertained by Lucas' antics. "Your son has a great sense of humor," he said, turning back to her. "He definitely keeps me on my toes," she replied, her voice light yet reflective, the weight of the day settling around her. Some days I feel like I'm juggling everything. I get that, he said, his tone shifting to something softer, more sincere. But you're doing an incredible job. It takes a lot of strength to manage everything. Mia swallowed hard, feeling the sincerity in his words. Thank you. I try my best. Your best is clearly working. Lucas is a bright kid. As they prepared for Lucas's next eruption, Mia felt buoyed by Alexander's encouragement. Yet, the flickers of doubt returned again, whispering in her ear. Could she really allow herself to explore this connection? Mom, are you ready? Lucas' voice broke through her thoughts, and she turned to see him bouncing with excitement. Ready, she called back, trying to shake off her hesitation. Let's make it explode, Lucas shouted, and with that they launched into the next experiment, laughter and delight echoing around them. As the eruption unfolded, a wave of colorful foam spilled over the edges, eliciting cheers from the onlookers. Mia couldn't help but join in the laughter, her heart swelling at Lucas's joy. Look at that, Alexander exclaimed, leaning closer to Mia, their shoulders brushing lightly. That's the kind of chaos I can get behind. Me too, she replied, feeling the warmth of his presence. Just imagine if you could bottle that energy, he mused, his gaze drifting toward Lucas. You'd have a gold mine. Or a science fair trophy, Mia added, her heart racing as their eyes met. The warmth of the moment enveloped them, but amid the laughter and joy, Mia felt a flicker of uncertainty. But what if it doesn't last? She asked quietly, the vulnerability slipping out before she could stop it. What do you mean? Alexander asked, surprise flickering across his face. I mean, she hesitated, searching for the right words. What if this is just a fleeting moment? Things are complicated and I don't want to drag anyone into my chaos. Chaos can be beautiful, he replied, his tone steady and sincere. It's real, and life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? Mia felt a longing swell within her, a yearning to explore the possibilities between them. You're right, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the sounds of laughter. Let's just enjoy this moment, Mia. You and Lucas have created something special here. His gaze held hers, and in that instant she felt the walls she'd built around her heart begin to crumble. The weight of her doubts lifted slightly, granting her the courage to allow herself to feel. Okay, she said softly, a spark of hope igniting within her. Let's embrace the chaos. Agreed, he replied, a smile breaking across his face, lighting up his features in a way that made her heart flutter. As they joined Lucas in his next experiment, Mia felt a warm sense of belonging weave itself into the fabric of the day. For now they were a team, navigating the unpredictable nature of life, laughter, and perhaps something more. Though uncertainties lingered in the back of her mind, she felt a flicker of possibility, a glimpse of what could be. And as the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the fair, she realized she was ready to embrace whatever the future held, chaos and all. Mia watched as Lucas excitedly mixed his ingredients for the next experiment, the colors swirling together like a kaleidoscope of creativity. Beside her, Alexander leaned in closer, his breath warm against her ear as he shared a light-hearted comment about the bubbling concoction. Why do I feel like we're about to witness a magic show? He whispered, a teasing lilt in his voice. The kind where things get out of hand. Just you wait, Mia replied, her heart fluttering as their shoulders brushed together. You've seen nothing yet. Just ask Lucas. He's the master of chaos. Lucas, overhearing their playful banter, turned with a wide grin. Mom, can you help me with the glitter this time? His eyes sparkled with mischief, a twinkle that reminded her of the joy of being a child. Mia chuckled, trying to hide her smile. You know glitter belongs everywhere but here, right? We'll be cleaning it up for the next month. Exactly, he countered, his laughter infectious. But it will be the best volcano ever. Alexander watched their exchange, his smile growing. A little glitter never hurt anyone, right? He said, glancing at Mia with an amused expression. Besides, who doesn't love a bit of fairy magic? Mia felt her heart race at the way his gaze lingered upon her, the unspoken chemistry simmering just beneath the surface. She shrugged lightly, trying to keep her tone playful. You'll regret those words when you're finding glitter in your hair for weeks. Challenge accepted, he replied, his tone light yet his eyes revealing a flicker of sincerity. Let's make some magic happen. As Lucas poured in the glitter, the moment swelled with an air of playful anticipation. Mia caught Alexander's eye again, and in the richness of the moment, she felt something shift between them, an electric connection that made her pulse race. Okay, Lucas, let's show them how it's done, Mia said, her voice brightening as she picked up the vinegar. On the count of 3, 2, Lucas shouted, bouncing on his feet. Mia and Lucas glanced at each other, then back to Alexander, who stepped back to watch, a playful smirk on his lips. I'd step back if I were you, he warned, feigning seriousness. Don't worry, I've got my goggles on, Lucas quipped, adjusting his imaginary safety gear. 3, Mia yelled, pouring the vinegar into the volcano. A cascade of vibrant colors erupted forth, mesmerized gasps echoing around them as the concoction bubbled and flowed. Eruption! Lucas cheered, clapping his hands in delight while Mia laughed, genuinely enjoying the moment. But as the cheers washed over them, Mia felt a twinge of uncertainty. Was this happiness fleeting? Would life return to its usual chaos once the fair was over? Yet, as she looked at Lucas, glowing with pride and joy, she pushed those thoughts aside. Looks like we've got a winner, Alexander exclaimed, stepping closer again, his demeanor warm and encouraging. Thang? Lucas beamed, his eyes lighting up with pride. Mia watched them interact with a mix of admiration and something deeper, a yearning she hadn't expected to feel. She had been so focused on protecting Lucas, shielding him from the complexities of adult life, that she had shut herself off from connection. Mom, can we do another one? Lucas asked, tugging at her sleeve, his excitement palpable. Of course, she replied, though her heart hesitated. She wanted to give him all the joy in the world, but her mind tangled with concerns. Could she really allow herself to explore this budding relationship with Alexander? Let's do something different this time, Alexander suggested, glancing at Lucas. How about we turn this volcano into a rainbow explosion? A rainbow explosion? Lucas' eyes widened in awe. That sounds amazing. Mia felt a surge of anxiety. But, Lucas, it'll be fun, Mia. Trust me. Alexander's voice was steady, and he shot her a reassuring smile. She hesitated, battling the desire to keep everything under control. All right, but only if we can contain it afterward. I don't want to create a bigger mess than we can handle. Deal, Lucas exclaimed, bouncing with excitement. As they gathered more materials, Mia felt the warmth of Alexander's presence beside her, a steadying force amidst her swirling emotions. Their hands brushed together as they reached for the same bottle, sending warmth cascading through her. Sorry, he murmured, the moment lingering as their eyes met. Didn't mean to invade your space. It's okay, she replied softly, feeling a mix of embarrassment and thrill. I mean, it's just a science fair, right? Right, he affirmed, though his gaze held a weight that suggested otherwise. But it feels like more than that, doesn't it? Mia swallowed hard, the intensity of the moment flickering with unspoken possibilities. Maybe, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. At that moment, Karen's voice cut through the air again, sharp and critical. Mia, darling, are you sure about that experiment? It looks rather messy. Mia's stomach twisted. We're creating a rainbow, Karen, she countered, trying to keep her voice light. It's all part of the fun. Fun is one thing, but we don't want to scare away the judges, Karen replied, her tone laced with condescension. Mia felt the heat of embarrassment rise to her cheeks. We're doing our best, she said, trying to keep her composure. Alexander stepped closer, his expression firm. What matters is the experience, not the outcome. Your son is thriving, and that's what counts. Exactly, Mia added, grateful for his support, though her heart still raced at the unexpected intensity of the moment. Lucas, sensing the tension, spoke up. Mom, can I add some more colors? His enthusiasm cut through the awkwardness like a breath of fresh air. Oh, of course, buddy. Mia smiled, grateful for his distraction. Let's make it bright. As they set to work, Mia felt the warmth of Alexander's presence beside her again, the electric energy between them filling the space. She caught him stealing glances her way, his expression softening each time their eyes met. What's your secret? Mia asked, trying to lighten the mood as they waited for the colors to finish mixing. Are you secretly a science fair champion? He chuckled, shaking his head. Not quite. Just someone who believes in the power of creativity and a little chaos. Chaos seems to follow you, she teased. But it's a good kind of chaos. Maybe we both need a bit more chaos in our lives, he replied, his voice low and sincere. Mia felt the tension between them grow, the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air. Maybe, she whispered, her heart racing. But life is complicated. Complicated can lead to amazing things, he said, leaning in slightly, their shoulders brushing again. Sometimes we just need to embrace the unexpected. Their gazes locked, and Mia felt something shift inside her, a yearning to explore this connection, to step beyond the boundaries she had drawn around herself. Lucas, she called, breaking the moment to focus on her son, who was now adding the final touches of color to their volcano. Are you ready for the rainbow explosion? Ready, he shouted, his excitement palpable. Okay, on the count of 3. Mia exclaimed, glancing at Alexander, who nodded in encouragement. 1, 2, 3. Together they poured the final ingredients into the volcano, and a brilliant rainbow explosion erupted, splattering colors everywhere. Cheers erupted from onlookers, and Lucas danced around in delight, his laughter infectious. Look at that, Mia exclaimed, the joy bubbling within her. You did it, Lucas. Mom, look at the colors, he shouted, his face lit with excitement. Mia turned to Alexander, her heart swelling with joy. This is amazing. It really is, he replied, his gaze steady and sincere. You've created something truly special here. As the crowd cheered, Mia felt a rush of exhilaration. In that moment, all her doubts faded away, and she focused on the present, on the joy radiating around them. Here's to a little chaos and a lot of fun, she said, raising her arms in celebration. To chaos, Alexander echoed, his eyes shining with admiration. They shared a smile that lingered, charged with unspoken chemistry, a moment suspended in time. As Lucas continued to dance around them, Mia felt a surge of hope blossom within her. Maybe, just maybe, amidst the chaos of life, there was room for something more. Can we do it again? Lucas asked, joyfully bouncing on his feet. Mia chuckled, glancing at Alexander. Only if you promise to help clean up afterward. Deal! He shouted, his enthusiasm contagious. And as they prepared for another eruption, Mia felt a sense of belonging wash over her. She was exactly where she was meant to be, surrounded by laughter, joy, and the possibility of new